Hi, boys and girls. Well, there have been some showers and then sunshine, and now the sun is out, so we're quickly going to get our story in outside, which you know I love to do. I'm thankful that you're all joining us today. You know, I've been thinking, we all always have so many questions. You're probably beginning to wonder who your teacher will be this year and who will be in your class. Maybe you've been thinking about what you're going to be when you grow up. Maybe you've been thinking about space. We have so many questions, and we also wonder what God is like. Well, today I have a story about a little boy, and he was wondering that. He lives with his grandma in a big city, and he's asking grandma all kinds of questions about God, and she tries to answer them the best she can. But today in our story, I think it might help you to have some answers to your questions too. So let's check it out. This story today is called Maybe God is Like That Too. And it's written by Jennifer Grant, and the pictures are beautiful. Benjamin Shipper did a great job as the illustrator. I live in the city where the sidewalks and the subway cars and buildings and buses are packed with people. But I've never seen God before. Look at how big. That would be like being in downtown Chicago, wouldn't it? Grandma, does God live in the city? I asked one morning at breakfast. Yes, God is here, she says. You just need to know where to look. Whenever you see love, you see joy and peace, God is there, she says, stirring her tea. Wherever there's patience and kindness and goodness, God is there too. When you see faithfulness and you see gentleness and self-control, that's God's Spirit at work. They're having a little chat over breakfast, aren't they? Bet you do that too. On the way to school, I'm on the lookout. I see a bus full of tourists, and I count 10 bright yellow taxis. I spy a man sweeping the stoop, and I see Grandma, and we laugh because we see a tiny dog wearing a fluffy purple sweater. Do you see that tiny little dog down there? He looks so cute, all dressed in purple. At school, Grandma hands me my lunch. She hugs me close before she says goodbye. That's what love looks like to me. Maybe God is like that too, I'm thinking. On the swings, I pump so hard I can see over the wall into the alley. My friends shout, higher, higher, as my feet fly way up to the sky. I bet you can pump really high like that too. That's what I think joy looks like. Maybe God is like that too. Outside, car horns are blasting, sirens are screaming, but my classroom is quiet and calm. That's what peace looks like to me. Maybe God is like that too. Look at, they're all working in the classroom. You'll be doing that in a couple weeks, won't you? Being such a good student and learning. I try to tie my shoes, but the laces get tangled around my fingers. My teacher comes and sits down right beside me, and she shows me how to tie them. That's what patience looks like to me. Maybe God is like that too. That's a hard thing to learn, isn't it? But once you learn it, you get faster and faster doing it. On my way home, I see a doorman. There he is, right there in his uniform. He's wearing a red cape and a hat with a shiny brim, and he's holding the door for a man who's using a wheelchair. What a nice thing to do. The man moves very slowly, and the doorman chats with him, and he smiles. That's what kindness looks like to me. Maybe God is like that too. While I'm setting the table for dinner, there's a knock at the door. It's our neighbor from downstairs bringing us a loaf of bread. It's golden brown and warm, and it's wrapped in a thin white towel. Isn't that nice? He came from downstairs, so that tells us they live in an apartment building where the floor you live on, you can go upstairs or downstairs. I think that's what goodness looks like to me. Maybe God is like that too. After dinner, I work on my homework while Grandma stands at the kitchen sink, washing the dishes and humming to herself, just like she does every single night. That's what faithfulness looks like to me. Maybe God is like that too. At bedtime, Grandma sits at the edge of my bed, singing me a lullaby and stroking my head. She tucks my blankets up close around me. That's what gentleness looks like to me. Maybe God is like that too. Don't you love when someone tucks you in after you hear a story? That's the best thing. I lie in bed, watching the curtains flutter. I want to talk about that dog we saw today. And I want to talk about how high I can swing. But Grandma says, once I'm tucked in, I have to stay in bed until morning. I close my eyes and I try to fall asleep. That's what self-control looks like to me. Maybe God is like that too. He's being a good listener using his self-control. Grandma said to stay in bed. I saw God over and over again today. Whenever I saw love, I saw joy and peace, and wherever there was patience or kindness and goodness, when I saw faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control, I saw God at work. I don't see God the way my friends or the street lights or the river, but I do see signs of God's Spirit all around me, right here in the city. I know what God is like. Maybe I can be like that too. It's very quiet now in the city, isn't it, at nighttime? So boys and girls, just like we talked about the questions that we have, Grandma was trying to answer his questions, and I thought that she explained it very nicely. Even though we don't see God like you see your mom and dad and brothers and sisters and friends, we know he is there wherever there is love, wherever there is joy or peace, patience or kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. So whenever you're feeling any of those emotions and you show those feelings to people around you, that's God's Spirit at work. And then you'll know also what God is like. So I hope your actions show people around you what God is like every day. I'm proud of you, boys and girls. I know you try hard every day, and I look forward to seeing you each week for our story time. So till next week, you have a great week. Enjoy the summer weather, and I'll see you then. Bye now.